It's the e-commerce master plan podcast, here to help you grow your e-commerce business faster and more efficiently by cutting through the hype to bring you inspiration and guidance from the e-commerce sector and beyond. Here's your host, Chloe Thomas.
Hello Masterplan world, welcome to our latest episode. It's great to have so many of you out there listening. I'm Chloe Thomas, I'm the creator of the e-commerce Masterplan. I'm an author, speaker and advisor, and I focus on solving your e-commerce marketing problems. If you've got an e-commerce problem you would like my help with, then head over to ecommercemasterplan.com/solve, and there you will find details of how to get in contact with me to solve those problems. This episode is sponsored by the email marketing platform that's a favourite of many of our guests, Klaviyo. Klaviyo accelerates momentum for e-commerce businesses and does it in a fast, reliable, scalable and cost-effective way. See why over 7,000 innovative e-commerce brands like Brooklinen, Taylor Stitch and Bonobos sell more with Klaviyo. Learn how they're doing it at klaviyo.com/e-commerce-masterplan. Let me introduce you to today's special guest. Stephen Wright is the founder of Micro Bikes UK. They're the ultimate one-stop shop for performance kids' toys. He launched the business in mid-2017 and is already on track for a six-figure turnover this financial year. That means he's currently doing around £10,000 per month. Hello, Stephen. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm very well. I'm happy to be here. It's a good experience for me, definitely.
Cool, and it's quite the story you've got. You're already hitting some good numbers that I know a lot of our listeners would like to be hitting. So I've just given them that very quick overview of where you're at right now. But how did this journey start off for you? How did you get started in e-commerce?
I've always kind of been into digital marketing. I was quite fortunate enough to land a job in digital marketing. So I spent a few years kind of learning the systems and how the industry works and really kind of getting to grips with the things that help convert a landing page or an e-commerce store. And whilst I was working in the industry, I decided I was going to set up an eBay store. Mm-hmm. So eBay was my first kind of venture on my own to learning how e-commerce works. And then after that, I decided I'm going to do some research in finding products that are going to sell really well. I came across Ride on Cars originally, mm-hmm. and then I came across mini quad bikes, which I knew that a lot of people weren't selling at the time, especially the big boys. So I decided I was going to build a business around that. I spent about 6 months building a business plan, doing some research, finding keywords that are suitable, and then Micro Bikes was born. And 18 months later, we're due to do six figures. So it's really kind of exploded very quickly.
Nice. And do you think that your background in digital has been important in making things so successful so quickly?
Yeah, I think the technical aspects of being able to design and implement a store and really think about the unique details of running an e-commerce website has really helped. And then, of course, the marketing side of things. So thinking about funnels, so remarketing, that kind of stuff as well has really allowed me to really ramp up some of the products that I've been selling. And then, of course, when you're thinking about ads as well, that kind of stuff goes hand in hand with the technical aspects and also thinking about funnels. So a lot of the revenue we've made has been because we've done really good SEO and really good remarketing. So we have had a lot of repeat customers, which is good. So a lot of customers who buy more than one item. We do upsell a lot of stuff as well. So for example, we will sell a quad bike and then we'll sell a helmet with it as well. So that really, really helps our average order value and really helps hit our numbers.
Very cool. You mentioned about 20 things there I'd like to come back to later. So we'll see how many of those we'll get to fit in.
I'll slow down a little bit.
Oh, no, it's good. The more the merrier. But before we get into all of that, let's just explain a little bit more about the business as it is now. You're clearly in the UK. Are you selling overseas as well or just in the UK?
It's just in the UK at the moment. because of the size and the weight of the items, it's very difficult to ship these products overseas. And so we do focus on the UK mainland. I say mainland, we include Scotland and, Highlands and the islands as well. But yeah, we do focus on the UK mainly because of logistics reasons. But that's not, we will think about Europe as well in the future.
Oh, cool. And I love that Highlands and Islands is a phrase you understand if you work in our industry. If you work in our industry in the UK, you completely understand what Highlands and Islands means.
Yep. That's it's a weird thing because Royal Mail are happy to ship to those areas at the same price that they'd ship to the UK mainland. But whenever you're dealing with private couriers, it's a completely different story. So you find that what it costs to ship it to, say, Birmingham, it costs almost double to ship it to Northern Ireland. So we do have an issue with that, but we are very transparent with the customers. So they at least they know they're going to be paying a little bit extra for shipping.
Yeah, I'm not sure you could describe the Royal Mail as happy about that. It's part of their charter, isn't it? Their universal delivery. They have no choice. If you're in Shetland, it's still the same cost to send it there. But before this turns into a postage rant, what platform did you choose to set up your shop on?
Well, I originally set the shop up on Shopify. Shopify is by far the easiest e-commerce platform to use. It's very simple to design on. There's plenty of good templates out there that you can use. There's a lot of plugins that work well with Shopify, and we use quite a few plugins to kind of help us automate a lot of the processes that we use. So yeah, Shopify hands down was the number one choice for us.
Cool. And it's where you still are now.
Yep. Still with Shopify.
Cool. Anyone who's listening who has yet to give Shopify a try, you can get a special offer if you go to ecommercemasterplan.com/Shopify. So you mentioned then that you've got various things plugged into your Shopify. Any ones you particularly like to recommend to the listeners?
Yeah, I mean, one of the first things we wanted to do was have an abandoned cart series. So we installed a plugin called Conversio. It used to be called Receiptful. It's recently changed, but what that does is that it plugs into your store whenever a customer adds a particular product to the cart, and they go to the checkout, they leave their email address and they abandon that cart. We'll then send them a series of emails reminding them that they can still purchase the item with discounts. So that's one of the plugins that we use that has proved to be very successful for us. Other plugins include shipping cost calculator. So obviously, as we explained earlier, we also use a plugin called Fire Push, which is a notifications plugin. So basically, when a customer visits the store, they'll either accept or decline push notifications. If they accept, then we'll be able to send promotions directly to their Windows desktop. So if they are on desktop, then we can send them push notifications with deals and promotions. And then there's a few other plugins that we use as well that kind of help with the upselling of products. So we use a plugin called Bold, which allows us to sell a helmet with a quad bike or sell a personalized number plate with a ride-on car. So that really ramps up our average order value.
Nice. And the browser push notifications that you've got set up with Fire Push.
Yep.
Are you finding those are effective? Because I'm finding that's kind of one of those things that a bit like email was 20 years ago. People are scared to do it, but once they've done it, it's great. Is that been your experience?
Yeah, I mean, I like to, rather than it being kind of very direct, it's more of a remarketing tool for us. So we want to hit the customers at every area that they're at. And at the moment, the only way we can do that when they're not on the website is through push notifications. So that allows us to kind of, we get a lot of inquiries through them. So if we have a promotion running and someone's not on the website, or they're not on their email or they're not on Facebook, then they will have a way to communicate with us. So in those terms, it is a good idea. It is a good plugin that we use. And and I would recommend it. It's fairly cheap as well. It's a free plugin. So you don't have to worry about, paying £50 a month for it. So for us, it's worked really well.
Oh, cool. Good to hear. Okay. And you say we, the team, who are you? What have you, how many of you are there and what are you outsourcing?
Well, I say we, but it's mainly me driving most of it. I have a couple of virtual assistants working for me. So I have a team who answer phone calls. Because of the nature of the products, they're quite big and they're quite bulky. A lot of people want to call and inquire and kind of get a bit more information on them. They do require some maintenance now and again. So I've hired a team who will answer the phone call. They're basically, it's like a switchboard kind of thing. They'll take the call. They'll answer any questions that I've given them on the FAQs. If they can't answer it, then they'll forward it to me and I'll deal with the customer. I also have a virtual assistant as well, who helps me with some customer service through Zendesk, and also she helps me upload new products. There's always new products that are arriving, so we're always kind of scrambling to get them on the website. So yeah, they're the two virtual assistants that I use at the moment, but it's fairly automated. The whole kind of logistics side of it, I've managed to automate through Limwork, so I don't have to put too much time into it, which is quite good.
So I'm presuming, therefore, that leaves you to focus on finding new product and marketing.
That's right. Yep. So marketing is mainly my strong point. So it's through Google AdWords mainly, so Google Shopping. So that's the main area of revenue for microbikes, and that's set up through the Google Shopping app on Shopify.
Yep.
And then it's all processed through Google Merchant Center, and then all done through Google AdWords. So again, we use remarketing for that. So we build audiences with remarketing and we retarget those audiences with Google Shopping ads. So even if one of our competitors is bidding 50p for a particular product on shopping, we can still bid 10p and reach the customer that visited our website before. So it's very handy, and we get a huge return on investment for that.
It's something which I think not enough people do. For those of you listening, what we're talking about is remarketing lists for search advertising using Google Shopping campaign adverts. Okay,
that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So what that is you take an audience of the people who are on your website, and then you use that in the search results, so on Google search results, to be able to put your ads in front of a more targeted audience. And because your quality score is going to be so much greater because they've previously been to your website and all the rest of it, that's how you get to pay less for it. And it's something which I'm so pleased to hear you saying it's a tactic you're using, because it's something I've been banging on about for I think about 2 years. And I think you're the first person who does their own AdWords who I've ever come across who's using it. So could you just evangelize about it a bit more, please?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's one of those things that you kind of think, do I really want to be competing with someone that has a budget that's 3 times the size of mine? And the answer 100% of the time is no. So my first thought was, how do I get around that?
Yeah.
And the first thing to think about was, if I can drive traffic to the website and then target those customers or those potential customers with my ads, that would be the best way to do it. So in the beginning, we did spend a little bit more on advertising just to drive that traffic into the funnel.
Because you've got to get some traffic in the first place, haven't you?
That's right. Yeah, you need to get visitors to the store in the first place. But once we had that traffic going, we were able to build audiences through analytics, Google Analytics, and also through our AdWords shopping. And then we were able to show those ads more often to those people that were more likely to buy. I mean, that's something that Google preach as well. I mean, they're very big on kind of putting ads in front of people that are more likely to buy. So we've created 4 or 5 different audiences. So we've got website visitors, we've got add to carts, we've got people that have visited certain product pages as well. And we like to kind of refine what we advertise for them. So we will advertise the best performing products. So we'll increase the bids on products that are working well. We'll decrease the bids on products that are not working so well. So we'll really refine how our shopping works, because it brings us so much revenue that, you know, it's almost 50 to 60% of the revenue we're bringing in at the moment.
Nice. That's an impressive performance. It's something which I think is showing the benefit of having learnt the digital marketing channels in advance, was you're able to really hit the ground running. Horrible phrase, but or frequently used phrase, I should say. But that's the thing. I find a lot of people, they start their businesses and they don't play to their own strengths. They're like somebody in your situation would go, I must get good at content marketing. It's like, well, no, not if you're great at that, then, at the AdWords side of things, then use the AdWords first and then learn the others once you've got those sales coming in. So it's really nice to hear that you've taken that approach to it all. Yeah,
that's right. I mean, it was always going to be a kind of find a product that's not taken over by, for example, Tesco's, and really ramp up the marketing in terms of like how it's done compared to how the competition are doing it. And what I found is that the competition, especially in this space, are very kind of handyman orientated. They're not really marketers. So I thought it was a good opportunity for me to come in and really show off, kind of thing.
I like that. And I do like the fact you said right in the very intro part that you approached this business by looking at the keywords as well as looking at other areas. It wasn't just what's a cool product. It's, are there keywords I can make this work on? Where's my marketing route in, not just where's my product?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, at the moment we're ranking on the first page for a lot of the keywords we originally set out to rank for. So, for example, kids quad bike or mini dirt bike, we're ranking on the first page for. And we really kind of refined all of our SEO, and a lot of the SEO is fairly basic. It's just very time consuming. So, you know, all the image tags, all the meta descriptions and meta tags, the stuff that's been around since 2007. And then we done a lot of things in terms of adding our product reviews onto the SEO engine, search engine, and doing a lot of stuff in Google Search Console, making sure we don't have any duplicate descriptions or anything like that. So there's a lot of refinement that was done on the product pages to make them rank on the first page for those keywords, and it just helped that there wasn't any massive companies that had been there for 10 years that were already kind of stuck on the first page. So it gave us some room to breathe.
I think that's really interesting, because I was wondering how you managed to make such a dent in SEO quite so quickly, because often it's years of building links and all the rest of it. But you would say the majority of your SEO success has come from getting the stuff on the website right.
Yes, that's correct. I mean, it's the way I see it is, I mean, that we do have some competitors that have been around for a long period of time and do have teams in place. But I think some of the competition we have don't necessarily have the marketing team in place to really sit down and refine all of that, all of those details. And I think it was helpful coming from a digital background, because from the beginning, during the business plan, I was thinking about how the URL is going to be presented, how the images are going to be presented, and what kind of things we're going to use in the scripts to make it rank better for SEO.
Excellent. Okay. Now I want to kind of move off marketing a little bit now, because you have a very high price point on your products. Compared to, most of the people listening have got something definitely sub £100 per, average order value, whereas yours is up in the several £100 levels. How has that changed the kind of messaging you've been using for customers?
Yeah, you're correct. I did think to myself that at one point probably my products were too expensive. I wasn't going to sell enough of them. Mm-hmm. With regards to the way we message, I mean, it's a desirable product for kids. I mean, parents want to impress their kids. They want to, on Christmas, they want to buy them something that they're going to be really excited about. They're really going to enjoy. And at first look, our products are those desirable products. So that's how we try and position ourselves that this is something that is an investment for your child, and this is something that is completely out of the ordinary. It's not the usual toy that you're gonna purchase from Toys R Us. Even are they still around, Toys R Us? Are they?
I can't remember. I'm never quite sure.
But so that we wanted to position it as that kind of product that, if you want to get your son into motocross, then we're the guys to come to for them to get into that. Or if you want to get your son into, or your daughter into riding quad bikes, then we're the company for you to come to purchase that product. So we wanted to position it in a way that it was desirable for children, and we reflect that in our graphic design. We reflect that in the quality of our product pages and the quality of our website. So we wanted to give that kind of that image.
And I noticed as well you've got finance options on there. I think you've got Klarna
Yep.
and an interest-free option as well.
That's right. Yep.
How important have those been to getting people over the payment line, as it were?
Well, that has been one of the biggest benefits, is bringing on Divide By and also Klarna. Divide By especially because they're interest free and they're instant as well, and they've got a 90% acceptance rate. So that means most of our customers can purchase through Divide By. And it allows them to pay over a 6-month period. So that has helped for our more expensive items. So we have a few quads that are on there that are over £1,000 that we get a lot of customers who want to put that on finance. But surprisingly, a lot of our customers just buy outright. So it's
happy
been
days, quite frankly.
Yes, it is. I mean, Divide By, we've only had them on for about 4 or 5 months now. So before that, we were just credit card or PayPal, and a lot of people were purchasing that way anyway.
And then the last question I wanted to ask you before we get into the top tips was around dropshipping, because you are a dropshipper,
Yep.
which I'm guessing is kind of good. Given the products is and the no-brainer option because of their size and the logistics and the fulfillment center sizing and all the complexity of that and the cash flow and all the rest of it. Are there any other? Are there any? What am I trying to say? I'm trying to ask you that there are a lot of people out there who want to take the dropship route, and it's a very different route to the buying the products and shipping them yourself route. Are there any kind of tips you'd have for anyone who's heading down that dropshipping route to make it as successful as possible from day one?
Yeah, I mean, the first few tips I give is find a supplier that's going to be reliable. Mm-hmm. We've used many different suppliers for these products, some more reliable than others. If we find that the supplier is not as reliable, then we will tend to phase them out gradually, because of the nature of the products. So that's my first tip, is to find a supplier that you can communicate with. Whether if you've got any questions with regard to the products, they're going to respond to you within 24 hours. That's essential. Yeah. The second tip would be to find products that you can mark up well and make a decent profit on. The thing about dropshipping is that a lot of products will have maybe 5 to 10% gross margin, and you have to sell a ton of them to make a profit. For us, we find products that are going to be making us 30% minimum gross margin. So we're looking at £250 profit per item that we're selling, which means that we don't have to worry about the numbers so much, and we can focus on creating a good experience for the customer. So they're my 2 tips: is find a reliable supplier and find a product that's going to give you some good profit as well.
Excellent advice. Okay, we're now going to go into the top tips for more excellent advice. But before we do, here's a message from our lovely sponsors. Whether it's being able to execute marketing ideas you didn't know were possible, or bringing to life the ideas you didn't have the tools or resources to do before, Klaviyo makes it possible for you to level up. You can try it for yourself at klaviyo.com/ecommerce-masterplan. Okay, I love the top tip section because it gives me and our listeners some really quick ideas for taking our businesses to the next level. So, Stephen, the first one is the book top tip. If everyone listening to this podcast agreed to take Friday off and read a book to make their business better, which book would you recommend?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Probably the book that sticks in my mind the most, because it was the first business book I read, was Richard Branson, Like a Virgin. That was a great book. It was one of the books that inspired me to really think about business as a career.
Excellent advice. And I think possibly the first time that one's been mentioned, remarkably. Okay, the traffic top tip. Which marketing method do you either prize above all others or think doesn't get the press it deserves?
Well, I'm going to do a U-turn and say that Facebook advertising is probably the marketing method that everyone should be using at the moment, whether it's e-commerce or business to business. I think there's a lot of scale available on Facebook advertising, so I'd say that.
Good advice. The top tip, maybe a collaboration tool, a social media plugin, a phone app, or just a way of working. Is there a cool little tool you use that makes you and your team more efficient from day to day?
Yes, if you're in e-commerce, especially dropshipping, if you can manage your inventory levels, then I'd recommend a tool called Limworks. You can basically plug in feeds into Limworks, which helps you manage all your inventory better, so you don't have to worry about what's in stock and what's not in stock.
And then the growth top tip. If you met someone today who's focused on growing their e-commerce business from 100 orders per month to 1,000, what would be your number one tip for them?
I guess have a good strategy and really kind of focus and be determined to push it through. I think motivation and determination are a key factor in a successful business.
Oh, so true. If you're not motivated, you are never going to get there. Okay, Masterplan World. You can find those top tips and links to everything else we've been chatting about in today's episode by heading over to ecommercemasterplan.com/podcast, where you will see a link to this show. Stephen, before we say goodbye, could you please let the listeners know where they can find you and your business on the web and social media?
Yep. The website itself is www.microbikes.co.uk. We're also on Facebook, and we're on Instagram, and all the links are available on the website. If you're interested in speaking to me about anything with regards to marketing, then you can get me on swright140888@gmail.com. I know it's a bit of a mouthful, but you can find me there.
Cool. I'll add links to all of that and everything else we talked about today in the show notes. Masterplan World, you can find those at ecommercemasterplan.com/podcast, or just go to the website, click on the podcast tab, or use the search box. Stephen, thank you so much for being on the E-commerce Masterplan podcast today. You've been an awesome guest.
Thank you for having me.
It's been brilliant. So thank you very much.
That's all right.
How interesting to hear Stephen's story there. I love the way that he took the skills and abilities he'd learned previously to starting up his e-commerce business and focused on those in order to A, decide what he was going to do, and B, build it out. Lots of good tips from him there, and I hope you have all enjoyed that one. Do let me know what you think by joining in the chat in our Facebook group. You can find that at ecommercemasterplan.com/Facebook. Have a great week and keep optimizing.
Thank you for listening to the E-commerce Master Plan podcast. Find out more at ecommercemasterplan.com.